Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here. I am glad to be here. First week of 2025. I have a ritual every year at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. I do a video to myself. And I won't go through the nuances of it, but know that what I do is I reflect upon the previous year, what I learned, take that information then and talk to myself a year from now as though I'm coaching myself. So questions would be like, first of all, congratulations, Lee. You made it through another, if you're watching this, you made it through another year. And then I may ask myself, you said you were going to achieve this, this, and this. How did it go? Were you successful? Could you have done better? Knowing what you know now, could you have done a better job? Were there things that you didn't expect this last year? How did you handle them? If you had it over again, how would you handle it then? And it's just this comfortable slash uncomfortable conversation that goes on. And I was reflecting today. I read something that reminded me of an experience I had clear back in 1997, sitting on the front row of a Utah Jazz game, the 1997 Western Conference semifinals. There was a young man by the name of Kobe Bryant, fresh out of high school, 18 years old. And here he was in the spotlight. He decided at the end of the game he was going to take it over himself. And here he is, 18 years old, taking over the game. And you know what? The way he was playing, everybody kind of thought he would do it. But then he missed his first shot to win the game as 8 seconds left. Air ball. Three more times, air balls. The Lakers lost the series and didn't advance. The Utah Jazz advanced. Kobe was sitting there with his hands down like this. And the reporters came up and said, wow, what does, how do you feel? What does it feel like to be able to be in your position? And of course, you know how they ask those crazy questions. But Kobe's response was profound. He goes, what does how I feel have to do with it? He said, I was focused on what I did wrong and how I could correct it. Instead of dwelling on the pain of failure, he analyzed, he learned, and he committed to improvement. And I know for a fact that that summer, Kobe practiced tirelessly to strengthen his shot, his conditioning. He was turning failure into fuel for his future. That summer, I had the opportunity, I was talking with Magic Johnson, and we were talking, and I shared with him my feelings about Kobe, how I thought he was conceited and overconfident, and he stopped me right in my tracks, said, you don't know anything. Probably true. He says, that young man's destined for success. Nobody works harder than he does. I said, really? He said, yes. He says, you know where he is right now? He is in a summer camp for professional volleyball players playing in sand so that he can improve his reflexes, his strength, and his jumping ability, all on his own nickel. Well, of course, over the years, I learned that that paid off. But just like Kobe, we can look back on the year and ask ourselves, how can we make last year even better? Not dwell on the successes or failures, but reflect on what we've learned and how we can grow. And whether 2024 was a year of victories, challenges, probably a mix of both, it's the lessons, not the victories or the challenges. It's the lessons we take forward that shape our future. We have a concept in the river called stacking moments. So each moment that we have, good or bad, choices only happen in the moment. And every choice we make is either a deposit or a withdrawal from our future. The key is to pause, reflect, to develop systems of reflection and pausing and asking yourself, what did this moment teach me? How can I use it to make 2025 even better? I'm grateful I developed to help me because it's not something I can do it, but you have to develop traditions. And so I have this empowered wealth journal that I do. And it has a series of questions for morning and night. One of the questions is every night, and I have to say I don't answer it every night. I wish I would. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. But if I could relive this day, what might I do to make this day even better? You see, is there anything in your life you can't learn from? Any experience you've ever had that you can't learn from sooner or later? And I'm going to say no. I've yet to find somebody that could say yes. Well, if that's the case, we live in a perfect school, albeit we're imperfect students. So let's start right now. Let's pose the question. What's one lesson from last year that I can use to make 2025 my best year yet? Take the time to do it. And then revisit this question. Don't just leave it once. Start asking yourself during the day, during the, at each night, what's one thing I could learn from today that'll make tomorrow better? And so choose that one specific lesson. Start here. Choose one specific lesson from 2024. Then identify one action that you can take this week to apply that lesson. And then do this. Share your progress with someone for accountability. Put those three things together, and you will have a more meaningful year. Kobe Bryant later on said this, and somebody was asking him clear about 1997, and do you remember that, Kobe? He says, yes. I look back at it now with fond memories. Back then, it was misery, but it helped shape who I am today. You see, failures and victories alike are tools for shaping us. Let's make 2025 a year where we embrace growth, we create ripples of impact, and we make our future bigger than our past. It's a great quote from Dan Sullivan. Always make your future bigger than your past. Let's have a meaningful week. Upward, outward, onward is a stair step to a meaningful year. We'll talk next week. Make it a great week. Bye bye.